Hello, my name is Ashley Kirkwood, host of the Speak Get Ready Cash podcast, founder of Speak Get Ready Cash, also attorney and founder at Mobile General Counsel. And today I am talking about the number one skill that I'm taking into 2022 that's helping me to grow my business. And first, I want to start off with a statement. And that statement is this: you don't get what you wish for, you get what you pitch for. You don't get what you wish for, you get what you pitch for. And of course, as with any statement, as with any mantra, there are some exceptions. But what I want to talk to you all about is the skill that I've developed and honed over the past decade plus that has been really helpful for me in growing my business and growing myself. Now, look, I want you, first off, I'm going to ask you guys some questions. And for those of you who are listening to this on the podcast, just take some notes, answer them in your head, or shoot me an email with the answers to these questions, because I think they'll be very, very helpful when you are thinking about what you really desire. So the first question is, what was your number one goal heading into 2021? What was your number one goal heading into 2021, right? And then when you think about that goal and you think about the activities you've done over the last 30 days, what have you done towards that goal? What have you done towards that goal? And so for those of you watching, if you're like, oh, I have taken deliberate action towards that goal within the last 30 days, put yes in the comments. If you're thinking of that goal and you're like, I have not taken a single action towards that particular goal, then I want you to drop no in the comments. No judgments here. And then I want you to think about what is your desire? And I'm asking you these questions because right now, what a lot of people are doing is they are thinking about what they want for 2022. They're thinking about how their life can change for 2022. But I would say there's still a window of time that you have before the holidays happen for you to do something towards your 2021 goals this year. The year is not over yet, okay? The year is not over yet. And the number one skill that has helped me, hey, how are you? That has helped me to be successful in my business is the pitching skill. It's the ability to have a goal, to say like, I want to achieve, let's keep it simple. Let's take it back to like when I was first starting my business. I had stair-step goals. So the first goal was like, okay, I want to land my first client. How did I land that first client? Well, I first had to identify who that client was going to be in a general sense, like who I wanted to work with. And then I had to go get that client. And I genuinely think that because my background is in sales, inside sales, where I would every day wake up, go to a job where I made 100 cold calls per day, I'm used to hunting. So I'm used to being like, all right, this is what I want. I'm going to pitch for it. And what I see day in and day out is I see this. And this may be you, and you may be bold enough to tell me in the comments, or you may not be. But day in and day out, I see brilliant, exceptional, powerful people, men and women, who have a gift. They have a skill that the world could literally benefit from. And the truth of the matter is those people absolutely love it when people see their gift because they get positive affirmations. If you're on here right now and every time you speak, someone says that you've changed their life. Every time you do your skill, someone says you've helped them. Every time you walk in a room and people see you and they're exposed to you, they get some type of a benefit. Put that's me in the comment. Put that's me in the comment. Because you're who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the people who know they were born to dominate. And every time someone sees them walking in their exceptional talent and gift, the world changes for that person. There are some of you who have something on the inside of you that's so powerful that every time you use your gift, people are literally floored. Right? Okay, so we got some people like that on the line. All right. Now here's the second part. I work with those people day in and day out. I specialize in working with people who are already great and helping them become greater. That's just the truth of the matter. And I think a lot of coaches try to say, if you work with me, it's because you don't have this. It's because you don't have that. I'm the opposite. If you work with me, it's because you got a whole lot and you just need the world to see it. And some of you are waiting on the world to recognize and to see your gift. And you're like, man, if they would just see it, if I could just get in front of the right people, if I just had more customers, if more people just knew about me, it would be so much easier. I know I can help them. But let me tell you this. I know that you believe in who you are and you believe in the power of what you have within you. When you don't just wait on people to recognize your gift, you are determined to show people who you are. Now, look, for those of you who weren't born with Beyonce as your mommy and Jay-Z as your daddy, you're going to have to work hard for people to know who you are. There's a couple of different ways you can do that. One is consistency over time. So you can just be consistent. Y'all, who's on my email list? Y'all know y'all gonna get an email from me. You ain't gotta guess. Like, it's coming. You know I'm gonna go live. You know that I'm gonna have a podcast episode drop at least once a week, and we've been doing it for the past well over a year. You know that he's like, yes, 8 a.m. So consistency is one way that you make sure more people will know about your gifts, because once you become a reliable source, people are going to always want to go to the reliable source. Like, when you in a pinch, you're going to go to the person who you know is reliable. So one way is being consistent. But some of you have an urgency to what you're doing. You're like, all right, I'm going to be consistent, but I also don't want to wait all day for people to recognize how great I am. Okay, so then you need to pitch. The number one skill that I've developed that has helped my business accelerate faster, that's helped us make 7 figures fast, that's helped us, and let me be clear, because I don't want to be one of those people who's like, 7 figures in 7 days. It was over years, right? Like, it wasn't overnight. And the skills that I was able to monetize and position to make money were developed over decades. So when I say fast, I mean, when I started my business to now, it's only been 3 years since I've been a full-time entrepreneur. And the amount of revenue that we have amassed it's been fast. Like, for me, 3 years seems fast to have gotten to the place that we've gotten to. But I did not wait for people to know about who I was. I told them who I was. And there are some of you that are allowing your pride to cause you to wait. You're like, well, I'm going to just wait till they come to me. I'm going to just wait until they recognize me. I'm just going to wait until somebody sees me in a room and the aura and the light that's around me just makes them say, oh, she's the one. Let's bring her on stage. I am telling you that a sign that you genuinely believe in the power of your gift is that you don't mind telling people about it. The reason believers who absolutely love God cannot help but to talk about God is because they believe in the goodness of who he is. So even when they're not trying, they're still witnessing. They're still like, man, I like, praise God. They're like, if you've ever been around anyone who genuinely believes in the God that they serve, you ain't got to be around them long before they tell you who they are, before they tell you whose they are. It is natural. It is innate. It is organic. And what I need you all to do is believe in the power of your gifts so much that you can't help but to tell people about it. So much so that you get over yourself, that you get over your fear of rejection, that you get over your fear of they won't think I'm cool, that you get over your fear of they won't think I'm popular. You get over yourself enough to give people your gift. And the reason you do that is not because you're so caught up in how great you are, but it is because you know that when you share your gift, people's lives are changed, period. And so you don't have a choice. And there are some times when I'm talking about the programs and the services that we offer at Speak Your Way to Cash, and I'm like, yeah, it's an investment, but the truth of the matter is it's also going to change your life. It just is. Because I believe, and I believe so much that my belief is contagious. And some of you you're like, man, I need a new strategy. I need a new this. You need a new belief system. Because when you believe in something strongly, belief has no choice but to be contagious. More contagious than the Delta variant. it is contagious. You know what I mean? When you genuinely believe something and you talk about it and it's in your heart, it's in your soul, and you believe it, it is contagious. And guess what? When people are buying from you, they're buying that belief. They're buying the fact that you believe it works. Now, I also believe that you should have some receipts to back that belief, because a lot of people believe that confidence, and can I just say this? Because we're dealing with the internet, and some of y'all have been burned before. If you've ever been burned before, drop burned in the comments, because we're gonna deal with this in a minute. Because there's something that's going on online, and I think I'm gonna call it, I'm just writing it down so I don't say it wrong. And then I got something on the internet and I got to edit it out and all this, and I don't want to be offending nobody unnecessarily. But we got to talk about this, because a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, Ashley, you just got a lot of confidence. Okay. I need more confidence. Okay. There is confidence, like true, genuine confidence. And then there's this thing that I see a lot. It looks like confidence, but it's shallow confidence. It can't sustain inspection. And most of you who've been following me for a minute know that I talk a lot about inspection. I believe anything that cannot be inspected, that can't be tested, is not authentic, right? Like, come on. Anything worth having can withstand inspection. So let's talk about real confidence versus shallow confidence. For those of you who believe you lack confidence, what you may actually lack is the information upon which your confidence is based. So if you're selling a program or you're selling a service and you're like, this is the best program out there, but you don't really know if it's the best program out there because you haven't researched other programs, you haven't invested in other programs, you haven't seen other programs, you don't have receipts for your program, you've never even put your program out there, it's just all an idea. You will only have shallow confidence upon which to base your assertions, because you haven't tested it, you haven't inspected it. So I want to be really clear, because a lot of people are going to tell you, raise your rates without any explanation as to value, without any explanation as to the transformation that you're providing. And I ain't gonna do you like that. What I'm gonna say is, if you have the expertise, if you have the receipts, if you have the ability, you've inspected what you're selling, you have some data to back it up, you've researched the industry. Let's not act like, because what I believe is that substance is coming back in style. I don't think it ever went out of style, but I do think that with everyone having a platform and a microphone right now, substance maybe has gotten pushed to the back because it's not as sexy as just saying everyone can make $1 million in 30 days or whatever it is that people on the internet will just tell you. So I want to be clear. I want every single person who works with me to have real confidence, which means they have data, they have good information upon which to base every single assertion they make. That way, they don't have to deal with this everlasting feeling of like, I don't know if this will work. I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know. Look at the data. Look at the facts. Look at the facts. Now, there are some of you who are blinded to your own greatness because you've believed the words of everybody else instead of the words of your creator, or instead of the words of people who genuinely love you and care for you and know who they are. So there's a couple of things we got to leave in 2021. Now I'm getting hot. It's like hot under this light. There's a couple of things that we have to leave in 2021 in order to really dominate in 2022. But number one, I believe consistency is important, right? And then two, you have to get your pitch game up. You're going to have to get your pitch game up. You're going to have to be committed to telling people who you are, how great you are, what you offer, what you provide, why it's excellent, why it's good for them. And I need you to get rid of this unfounded guilt that keeps you from doing that consistently, with power and with authority. And if you're struggling with what it is you're selling, or what it is you need to say to people to get them to be great, then what I want you to do is to gather as much information as possible about how you change people's lives and quantify it. I was talking earlier to someone, and I was talking about how I'm gonna try to see how I can say this in a non-offensive way, because I can't be telling you my private conversations. We just get straight to the point. I don't even be thinking about what is politically correct. Okay, but let me think about it. If it offends you, just figure it out on your own time. But here's the thing. I'm gonna just be raw with y'all tonight. And if it's too raw, I'll take this video down. But if it's okay, y'all just say keep it up, all right? Let's have a heart to heart. There are some of you who have determined who you want to help by figuring out who is the easiest demographic to serve. I think that's the right way to say it. Who is the easiest demographic to serve? There are some of you who have racked your brain like, okay, I'm good at this. I think it'll be easiest to serve this demographic over here because they're not going to require a lot. They're not going to inspect a lot. They're new businesses. They're just like me. We're from the same community. We look just alike. Like, I think they would be the easiest people to serve. I'm going to just serve these people over here because it looks like low-hanging fruit. There are some of you who have set your entire purpose on whatever table you think would be easiest to hold it. But you're still frustrated. And you're still discontent. And you're still angry, and you're still looking at your bank account and looking at your life, and you're like, God, this can't be what I went to school for. This can't be what I worked so hard for. Nothing around me looks like abundance. And the answer and the problem is every single time you're presented with a next level opportunity, with a next level conversation, with a next level anything, you immediately revert back to how simple can I make this? What would be the easiest path to take? What will cause me to face the least amount of rejection? What medium can I use that won't require any financial investment? Like literally, if we're honest, most people don't reach their purpose, not because they don't know how, not because they're not capable, not because they don't have the money, not because they don't have the resources, but because they are too addicted to simple. I'm gonna let y'all sit with that for a minute. And let me be very clear. There are a ton of people right now screaming, I want high value clients. I want to work with corporations. And if we're real, because a lot of what I do is at Speak Your Way to Cash is we focus on teaching you how to start at the top of the speaking market versus working your way up from the bottom, how to go in and pitch for 5 or 6 figure contracts, but that's not the ceiling. There are people pitching for multi 6, 7 figure contracts. Like there is no limit. But I start and I say 5 and 6 figure, and I don't typically talk about the 7 figure contracts that we're planning to pitch for this year or the multi 7 figure deals that we've researched for our sales team. And we don't talk about those things because for a lot of people, even thinking about 5 or 6 figures is a whole new shift. And if we talk too high level, they'll be like, okay, well, I'm getting caught up in, well, how would it work? And am I good enough? And I'm da-da-da. But here's the thing. If you are addicted to the easiest path, you will never reach your full potential. I don't know who told us that the easiest people to serve are going to be the ones that will get us to millions, or the simplest path is going to be the one that we should take, or it shouldn't involve any struggle, or it shouldn't involve any hard work, or it shouldn't involve any turmoil. And I get that everyone wants to live a life of ease, but sometimes this life of ease that you're chasing is an opposite to the people you're supposed to serve. And there are a lot of you who are called to serve a different population, and you're literally avoiding going through the door to your purpose because it doesn't look easy. And guess what? When you want to serve multi-billion-dollar corporations, they are going to ask you questions because they inspect everything, because their standards are different. And if you are someone who has been discontent serving whoever you're serving now, I want you to evaluate whether you selected that audience because it looked easy, or if you selected that audience because you know you can dominate there, because you know you can make the most impact there. Most people, if I were to ask most adults, who makes the decisions in your life? Who determines where you live? Who determines who you serve? Who determines the work you do? You know what they would say? I determine it. I'm an adult. But you want to know who really determines decisions in most people's lives? Mr. Fear, Mrs. Doubt. Those are the people who really are in the driving seat of most of your life. If your decision is made on what's going to be simplest, it's really made because you're scared of the hard. If you're serving people because it seems like they won't require a lot of you, it's really because you're scared of inspection. And for those of you who are discontent where you're at, if you're happy where you're at, then God bless you. If you're happy where you're at, then God bless you. But if you're discontent where you're at, I want you to serve up next year. I want you to challenge yourself to serve the audience who has problems so urgent that they need to have them solved, and they're going to make a financial decision to solve them. It's different. It's different. Your whole setup is different. Your whole talk is different. Your whole language is different. I specialize in serving highly educated, busy professionals and helping them to get their sales life in order. Those are the people that I serve. They got all the degrees under the sun. If I were to show you the picture of the people who joined Speak Ready Cash Academy, everyone but maybe one or two people has an advanced degree, if not several. Doctors, lawyers, engineers, seven-figure business owners. We specialize in serving people that others say they want to serve, but typically don't want to live up to the standard of serving them. We serve people who already have businesses, who've lived in other countries, several, who don't have dual citizenship. Like, we specialize in serving the clients who some would say are difficult and demanding, because I'm difficult and demanding. Like, let's just be clear about it, right? Like, I go places and I got requirements. I have standards. I like things done a certain way. And the reason I'm like that is because I've achieved some things in my life that allow me to pay for that level of service. So, I'm going to serve the difficult and demanding. And they're not difficult to me. But to be clear, we are the people who most in society deem difficult and demanding. But if your clients place no demands on you, and it ain't never an issue, and you ain't never been challenged, and it's never a problem, then okay, God bless you. That's just not who I serve. We serve multi-billion-dollar corporations. The decision typically requires 3 to 4 people to sign off on it. It's typically not a one-call close, meaning we have multiple conversations and we have to pitch via email and via LinkedIn, and then we get on the phone. This isn't the easiest path to the money, but I'm a lawyer. Like, by trade, I'm a lawyer. I went to school to figure out, I went to law school. I've never been addicted to easy. Graduated from Northwestern, top of my class. I've always gone after it. And what I have seen in my life is when I've challenged myself, when I've decided to really see how far I can take it, I live a better life. I have a better situation, right? My bank account looks better. I'm more I enjoy more what I'm doing. And so I don't want you to get caught up getting addicted to easy. I do believe, and let me be really clear, this is not the same thing as you living a tumultuous, hard life. We travel several months out the year. I think we took, I don't know, my husband just said we were in 12 cities last year, 2 different countries, went out the country twice. We live a very good life. We do. But we have responsibility. Thank you, Kevin. That's 100% true. Why did we talk about this very thing less than an hour ago? It's the truth. The road less traveled requires a bit more responsibility. 100% true. But there are some of you who've already traveled the other road, and you're like, Ashley, I'm not happy with this. I want more. I desire more. I want to have more. Okay, what the multi-billion-dollar clients looking like? What does that look like? And let me in pitching, the reason why some people don't pitch, and when I say pitch, this is what I mean. I mean, if you are, it doesn't really matter what business you're in business. You should have a list of the 100 clients you plan to serve next year. If you're a high volume business, maybe your list, I like a 100 client hot list. These are the 100 people or the 100 organizations I plan to serve next year. After you have that hot list, then you need to start pitching those people. You can do it via email. You can do it via LinkedIn. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're like, girl, I don't pitch. I just get referrals. Okay, sis. But look, you're going to need to have, this is a sales strategy. You should join the Pitch Your Way to Cash Challenge that's coming up in a couple of weeks. We're doing it free for the holidays. So you have to go to www. That's an important, put that little www in there, speakyourwaytocash.com/challenge. But one of the things that challenge talks about is pitching. Who to target, how to target, and what you need to do. And it's simple because we only got 3 days and it's about 30 minutes each day. But it's a little something to get you going because you need to tell people who you are consistently so that they can make a buying decision. That's what it is. And it needs to be consistent. Okay, so we got a comment. I honestly don't know where to start. I've tried to reach out to companies, but nobody responds. One, have you signed up for the Pitch Your Way to Cash Challenge? It's free, so there's literally no excuse. Two, how many companies are you pitching each and every week? Put that answer in the comments. I'm gonna help you out if we can. You talk back to me. Because the other thing, y'all, this is another tough truth that I've had to rationalize with myself. There are some times when I'll set a goal and I'll be like, okay, this is my goal. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And I'll go after the goal to the best of my ability. And I'm using air quotes on best because sometimes it's not to the best of my ability. I'm just, I'm doing what I can do. But whatever, like I go after the goal. And then I realize, okay, and this is the question that I now ask myself before I go after a goal that I never asked myself before, but I should have. I set a goal. This is what I want to do. This is how many people I want to impact. This is what I want to make, whatever. Okay, I set this goal. But then what I do now that I did not do in the beginning that I have to do is like, okay, what if the goal was 10 times as large? How would I go after that goal? Let me make this really clear. Let's say you want to make $1,000 a day, right? Simple. I'm going to use simple numbers just to make this clear. That's your goal. You're like, all right, well, in 2022, I want to make $1,000 a day. Cool. Simple goal. And you start doing activities you start doing the activities you think are required to make $1,000 a day. But it's a goal, which means you've never made $1,000 a day. So really, you don't really know exactly what it takes. You're just opining as to what it takes to get $1,000 a day. Cool. But if you really want to make that $1,000 a day goal, the question I would ask myself is, okay, what does it take or what do I think it would take to make $10,000 a day? Whatever those activities are, the ones that I can imagine for 10x the actual goal that I want to make, those are the actual activities you're going to need to do to make $1,000 a day. Whatever you think it takes to get to the $1,000 a day, I want you to imagine it takes the activities to make $10,000 a day. Do those activities and you're going to get closer to your goal, if not reach it. What I have found for me is that every time I set a goal, it actually takes 10 times more to achieve it. That does not mean I am the one having to do 10 times more work. It may mean I need to be smart about it. So I think I need to reach 20 people a day. Really, I need to be reaching out to 200 people a day. All right, cool. So then the thought process is, all right, well, what technology can help me to achieve that so that I'm not burnt out? Who can help me achieve that so that I'm not the one doing it? But before I assign anything, I always do it myself correctly and with results first. There are some exceptions, but that's the general rule, especially with sales. So if I'm giving a script, I know that script has worked before I have like team members just invest all their time in doing something. So, okay, I've signed up for the pitch. I honestly do one company, but I'm not sure what company or where to look for the company. All right, so number one, for those of you who are like, all right, I don't even know where to look. This information is readily available. in terms of who to target. All of you who want to work with corporations and land large contracts need to buy the Speak Your Way to Cash book. If you're like, oh, Ashley, I'm not going to read the book, cool. I read it for you. So go to Amazon. The link is it's out there. I mean, you could just go to Amazon and search Speak Your Way to Cash, but in terms of a link, the link is in my Instagram bio for where to get the book, and the link is also posted in this video. Just click that Connect with Ashley link, and it's there. Listen to the audio book. Boom, there you go. Chapter 4 tells you exactly who to pitch in terms of like who you can target. So really, really clearly written book. It's a lot because, again, this stuff isn't easy, and I think people want it to be easy, but let me tell you why it's worth it. When I sell a corporate client or a collegiate client one time, that one client has the potential to rehire me every single year of my life. And most of them do. We work together every single year because when you go through and have corporate clients, you become a vendor in their system. And if you're solving a problem for them that's a reoccurring problem, or you're speaking to an audience that they're going to have every year, colleges get new students every year, companies get new employees all the time, then you will always be relevant to solve that problem over and over again. And the deeper you get into an organization and the more you learn about that organization, the more problems you uncover. And what I need all of you to start doing in your day-to-day lives are become solutionists. So for every problem, you have a solution versus for every problem, you have another problem. One of the big issues I see is that some people are problem hunters instead of solution hunters. So like it's easier for them to find problems than it is for them to find solutions. And you'll know that you're like this if everything you see, you critique and you're never thinking of creative solutions ever. Like you're just like, you're critiquing everything, you're not thinking of no solution. It's not going to work. Becoming someone who sees solutions everywhere versus just someone who critiques and sees problems everywhere is a skill that you can develop, but it starts in your day-to-day life. Before you complain tomorrow, I want you to think of a solution for that problem. Here's a mantra that I told one of my girlfriends today. I was like, look, I love when I identify a problem because I've never met a problem I couldn't solve. And even if it's a problem that I cannot, within my own strength, personally solve, I know God for that. So boom, never met a problem I couldn't solve. Like I never met a problem that I couldn't figure out how to get a solution to. And the especially, and we're talking about business problems here. And the beauty of that is that when you identify a problem, like right now you've identified, I need to figure out who to pitch. There are people walking this earth right now who know who to pitch to get corporate clients. Hello, I'm one of them. I've written so much stuff on this. We have a podcast with over 115 episodes. So there's information for you. So now you need to figure out, okay, well, what's the best path for me to solve this problem? Who can help me solve a problem? Another rule. I'm going to just give y'all some rules before we get back into the topic. The other rule that I have is like, if it takes me more than 2 hours, I got to find somebody to help me with this because my time is really valuable. And if the pandemic taught us nothing, it's that life is not promised. And the world that we know now, the resources we have available to us now may or may not be available to us in the future. So we have to take time seriously. So if there's a person, a coach, a consultant, someone who can shorten my path to learning, I'm hiring them. So now here's the other thing. A lot of people are like, okay, but what if I don't have the money? Well, that money is a tool, right? It's a tool. And if you don't have that tool, that's a problem. You got to find a solution for it. And everyone's at different places in their lives. So that looks differently for everyone. But again, finding money as a tool is not something that no one has figured out how to do in 2022. So you're going to have to figure out a solution for that. And maybe the solution to your money problem is time. You cannot have money, but if you don't have money, you're going to have to make time to learn it on your own. If you don't have time, you're going to have to spend money. Money helps to buy time. How? Because you can buy talent. So if you have money, you can duplicate your time or grow your time by hiring really, really, really good talent. And so those are some things that I would recommend. But look, y'all, the number one skill that I've developed over the last decade is my ability to pitch. if you want something, like let's say you want to speak to corporations, you need to narrow down which corporations specifically you want to speak at. And after you narrow that down, you need to start asking them to do business with you. Because if you tell me you want to land $1 million in contracts, then what you're going to have to do is start to pitch 10 or $20 million in contracts. And you need to figure out the best path to do that. But the truth is, if you've never landed a corporate client, the initial goal is landing your first corporate client. If someone pays you, if one corporation pays you, there's another one that will too. And that vote of confidence is sometimes all you need to kickstart that journey. And I do understand why most of us have monetary goals, but I don't want you all to get caught up in the money so much so that you discourage yourself. Because if you create a really big goal, like, oh, I want to make $10 million this year. Cool, that's words. If you say you want to make $10 million this year, what you're really saying in terms of activity is that I want to pitch $150 to $200 million in corporate clients this year. And I have the infrastructure and the resilience and the commitment to do that. So I want you to set two goals. One, the monetary goal. Secondly, the activity goal. How much activity will it take for you to reach that goal? And something that I read in a book recently is like, how much pain are you willing to endure to reach it? And this doesn't have to be physical pain. It doesn't even have to be mental anguish, but it does need to be, pain could be rejection. How much rejection are you willing to take to reach it? How many no's are you willing to take to reach it? How many doubts are you willing to crush to reach it? How much of your comfort zone are you willing to avoid or step outside of to reach it? Personally, I feel like I'm a comfort zone killer. I'm gonna push you. Like, I'm gonna push you. You're going to be uncomfortable. Most of the time you'll like me, sometimes you may not. Like, you may be like, I'm tired of her telling me to do more. I'm tired of her telling me. But the truth is, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, you know you want to do more. You know you want more. You know you want someone to just tell you the truth, that you're doing good, but what you're doing won't work for where you want to go. Either we can change the goal or we can change the activity. And I know that it would be so much easier to sell you guys a lie and just say like, oh, you don't have to do all that. Things will just happen for you. And I saw a post recently from someone, a pretty big influencer. And they were like, I won't even say influencer because I don't think they categorize themselves as an influencer, but a pretty big person. And they were like, yeah, it's amazing. I got this and it was so easy. And then I got something else. And then I got this other opportunity and it was just all God. And I was like, oh, my heart always sinks when someone says that. Like, oh, it's so easy, it was all God. And the truth of the matter is, it was 100. Like, I 100% believe that God has his hand in my life and in everything that we've done. But I think that the misleading portion about making it look a little too miraculous is that people start to think, okay, well, if God wanted me to be great, God would make me great. And this is the example that I want to use to all my believers and all the people who are spiritual, who are like, oh, well, God wanted me to have it. He'd have the angel come to my door, knock on my door. The angel would come on in and me and the angel would talk and we would get it. I want to be very clear with you guys. If there is still work required. And when I see people who are like, oh, I don't know, like people just started inviting me to speak and it was just all, I don't know what happened. And then I go back and I look at their Instagram and over the past 15, 20 years, they've been posting beautiful photos and thought-provoking content and material that attracts and doing. So although they didn't ask for every opportunity they've received, their actions have called those things into their life. So yes, God had his hand on it, but you gave him something to breathe on. So I am always saying to my believers, the people who want to blame every good thing on God and every bad thing on the devil, be very careful that you're not giving up your power and your agency, because God lives within you, which means the fear that you're allowing to hold you back isn't of God. You need to work through the fear that's making you feel like somebody has to come and wake you up out of your sleep and handhold you out of your door and allow you to get into the blessing, when really you could have been blessed. You could have been had that miracle you were praying for, but you won't walk through the door. You won't open the door. And a great pastor that I respect a lot recently was like, God works through people. And some of us, this is something that I have worked to overcome over the years. And I've talked to some of my friends about this. Some of us lack maturity in that we only receive blessings from people who look like they're blessed. So we won't even receive a blessing from someone who doesn't look a certain way, because we're so immature that we believe that blessings come in perfectly wrapped containers, when the truth of the matter is that's an immature way to think. And I'm gonna prove it to you. I have a 1-year-old daughter that lives with me, clearly, right? I'm her mommy. Chris is her daddy. She lives with us, family. And right now, she is like learning to, she drinks out of sippy cups. She drinks out of open cups, but she only likes her milk in a bottle. And my baby is particular. So she only drinks her milk out of a certain bottle with a certain like top on it. It has to have this one particular top. We can give her the same milk that she will ask for in a different bottle. She will not drink it. If we give it to her in a cup, she will not drink it. If we give it to her in a different container, she will not drink it. She will only drink the milk out of the bottle with the particular top on top of it. Like, it has to be exactly as it is. Otherwise, every other blessing that we give her, she rejects because she doesn't like the container. But my baby's one. How immature are we as full-grown adults that there will be blessings all around us? God has sent miracles all around us, but we reject it because we don't like the container that it's in, because we don't like what they look like, or we don't like what they posted, or they're not the same skin complexion as us, or they don't have a big following, or whatever. It is a sign of immaturity that you will only receive information from people and things that you deem to be holy enough when you're the one standing in need. So what I have adopted, is that I learn from everything. I want to learn from everything. I want to learn from everyone, even if it's just what not to do. But I am going to be mature enough to accept the feedback, to accept the blessing, to accept the miraculous, even if the container that it comes in isn't the one I want it to come in. And because I understand branding and I understand marketing, we take nice photos and we do nice things. And I get dressed before I come on here. You know, I don't come on in the bonnet and all of that, but I could, and the information will still be fire. You know what I mean? But I don't do all of that. And I don't do it because I know there are so many people who have not matured into the mindset that I can learn from anyone. Let me hear the substance of the thing. Let me inspect the substance of the words before I reject what I may have prayed for. So no, I don't want you. I mean, I want, my hope for everyone listening to this, for everyone watching this, is that this year in 2021, you get really clear on your purest heart's desire. It's that you go home tonight and you take out pen and paper and you write out the dream that you have innately if fear were not in the driving seat. And you evaluate who has been making the decisions in your life. Is it you? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Who has been making the decisions in your life? Who has been making the decisions in your life? And then you figure out, all right, if I was in the driver's seat, in my purest, most confident form, what would I want? And once you identify what you want, you then set a goal. Whether it be monetary or impact, number of people you want to impact, whatever it is. And then I want you to 10x that goal. And after you 10x that goal, I want you to speak the goal in terms of the activities you believe it'll take to reach that goal. Because we got work to do. And how sad would it be if at the end of your life, You've done all this stuff, and you've served beneath your ability your entire life. You've chosen every door you were going to walk through in your life based on whether or not you thought it would be easiest on the other side. And the reason why it's selfish to take the path of least resistance is because had I not personally been rejected 95 times a day, I'd never be able to teach thousands of people about sales. Had I not personally not gotten into my first law school and almost failed out of undergrad and then transferred to Northwestern Law School and got a near perfect GPA, I would have never been able to write a book that helped hundreds of law students of color get into their dream schools and graduate with six-figure salaries. Had I not personally gone through the path that was the toughest, the path where everyone said you ain't gonna be able to do it, had I not gone through, and I shouldn't say everyone, because I had a lot of people speaking positively into my life, thank God, but had I not taken the path that other people said was going to be challenging, I would have never been able to literally write blueprints for other people. I've written 2 books, one for law students, one for speakers and entrepreneurs and thought leaders. I've written 2 books, over 100 pages each. The book for speakers is like 246 pages, 250 pages. It's a thick book. But had I not taken the path that was not the easiest path, I could not help anyone else. And so while everyone is trying to serve the person that requires the least, everyone is at the same time saying they want to help the most people. And the people who help the most people are the people who take the path that most people won't take, so that they can take the path, chart the path to getting through it, and literally document a blueprint so that other people can follow that path. So if you really want to be a trailblazer, then you're not waking every day looking for the easiest thing to happen for you. And I'm not saying don't simplify your business. I'm not saying any of that. And hire help. I hire a lot of help. But even in that, leading a team of employees, having people's full-time salary on your mind and coming out your bank account every month, that's not the easiest path. That's responsibility. And so I want you guys to just think about, am I just choosing every single goal I have based on what I believe will be easiest? And there's some of you who are like, I want to serve corporate clients. I think that'll be easier than consumers. I can just get one large contract and I'm done. And while that may be true, I don't want to mislead you into thinking getting that 1 or 2 or 3 contracts won't require any work. It will. And eventually it gets easier. It does, because you become a better leader. It doesn't get easier because the responsibility lessens. It gets easier because your capacity expands. That's the benefit of taking paths that other people don't want to take. So if you want greatness, if you want more, if you desire for people to be able to follow a blueprint that you have created, then that's going to require you not simply looking for the path that's going to be easiest, but it's going to require a little bit of work. So if you have any questions, if you have questions on Clubhouse, send me a DM in the back or raise your hand. If you have questions on Instagram and you're watching it on Instagram, put it in the question box. If you have questions on Facebook, please do drop those below. If you are someone who is a speaker, entrepreneur, expert, thought leader, someone who wants to land corporate speaking contracts, corporate or collegiate speaking contracts, then I want you to join me for my holiday gift to my audience this year, the Pitch Your Way to Cash Challenge. The Pitch Your Way to Cash Challenge. We try to keep all of our names very similar because we trademark all our stuff. So it's Pitch Your Way to Cash. It's a 3-day challenge, 100% free. You can go to www.speakyouRwaytocash.com/challenge. If for whatever reason the URL does not work, just put in the www before it for whatever reason. Sometimes that helps. But you can go there and sign up now. We get started the 27th because I want you to take action this year. I don't want you to wait until next year to change your life. There is still time in this year. There are still things that you can do this year. And if you have goals or objectives that you want to make sure you meet, then make sure you go for them this year. Start going for them this year, even if all you're doing is setting up meetings for the new year. Do what you need to do this year. Pitch. Ask people to work with you. Tell people who you are. There's so many tools and resources you can use to be consistent. And for those of you who are on here who are in the academy, we can definitely talk about like content tools that we have to help schedule our stuff out. Like we do a lot to make sure that we can stay consistent without me having to do everything, because that's just not possible at the size of our business. So we definitely hire out. We definitely have help. However, that the quality of output you get from your team is oftentimes determined by the quality of input that you put into them. So even that takes work on my part. And that's been a lot of development too, just becoming a leader and doing what needs to be done. So again, guys, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you pitch for. You get what you pitch for. If you're someone who's like, all right, I'm going to ask for the opportunities I want in this new year, just drop pitch in the comments. Just drop pitch in the comments. I want you going for it, whatever that looks like. And, you know, the book, the Speak Your Way to Cash book, covers press, pitching for the press. It covers pitching for large corporate and collegiate speaking opportunities. It covers so many things. It covers how to get your team members. Part 6 is all about getting your legalities in order and also hiring your team, your first team members, and what our team looks like for our speaking business. It covers all of that. But one of the main things that it covers, and the theme throughout the book, is that you need real confidence to do business out here in these streets, especially at the corporate and collegiate level. You're going to need to be able to pick up the phone and tell people who you are. And that requires you having the substance to do it. And what we do at Speak Your Way to Cash is make sure that you're not taking that road alone, that you know what's typical, what's normal, you know how to present something in a way where you're a standout. Our clients are very happy with us. We have processes and systems, and we're clear on what we do. We have a customer map that we work through. Like each client goes through the same process just to make sure that things are consistent. And that's what you're going to need. But it's not unattainable. It's not above you. You can 100% do it. You can 100% do it. And I'll say this, although it's not easy, I still have a lot of fun doing it. Just because it's not easy doesn't mean it won't be fun. It doesn't mean you won't have a good time. It doesn't mean you won't enjoy yourself. That's not, I think when people talk about ease and wanting ease in their life, ease means, for me, this is how I define it. It is about the way in which I carry what I have. It's not like I have all these bags and I'm stressed out and I'm mad all the time. No. For me, I'm walking in my purpose, so I'm graced for this journey. For someone else, it may be, but for me, this is what I was born to do. This is what I am put on this earth to do. Speaking, coaching, changing lives, talking. Like, that's what I was put here to do. So I love doing it, and it's not laborious for me because I enjoy it. And my husband will look at me, he can see me work, and he's like, you love this. It's clear. And I do. I absolutely do. And I want that for you. And I want you to determine what that is for you so that you won't feel outside of alignment in everything that you do. For me, this is what works. And I'm okay with the fact that there's going to be work involved. I don't run from work. I don't look for what's going to be the easiest thing. Like, I'm not setting my life around what's going to be the easiest thing to do every day. Like, that's just not, that's not how it works. And for any mothers out there, that's not how that works either. Like, motherhood is not the easiest thing you can do. So all that being said, hopefully this was good. If it was, make sure you share it with at least one friend. If you are a speaker, entrepreneur, or thought leader, join us in the Pitch Your Way to Cash challenge. And please do let me know in the comments one thing you got away from this video. Just one thing you got away from this video that you're going to take with you and make your week even more powerful than it was already going to be. Let me know that. Putting out this content is something that I absolutely adore, and it helps to know that people are getting value out of it, because that is what we want, and that is what will help us continue to put out great content for you guys. All right, guys, I will see you guys in the Pitch Your Way to Cash challenge. For those of you that are joining, again, it's www.speakyourwaytocash.com/challenge. See you there.